Yeah. So we're back, and yeah, I'm still advertising the new video. Still like to get some views on it. Um, Now I was hoping to get a decent amount of views very quickly, but that'd be nice, and I still would like that. However, man, that's a video with legs. That's a video where I think basically it's good enough that it will pick up steam. So, um, so the perfect schedule continues today. This stream's probably going to go until around 5. Then I have a couple of practices to do. And then I do have a practice at 6, but I may do that early. Then I'll probably come back. So then we'll see. I'm thinking of playing maybe a couple fighting games later. That might be fun. But it's like, okay, so Matt, you talked real big. You were talking real well before about overcoming like spiritual opposition and stuff. How's your progress? How are things going? Well, here's the thing. I will say today has been a little difficult, but I've been maintaining. In fact, I think I've been maintaining pretty well amidst a fairly difficult set of oppositional forces. I mean, that anyway, but particularly today, I think they've been particularly lined up and particularly trying. That's fine. So let's focus on the good, though. Let's walk from the room that we'd rather not be in the art museum to the room that we'd like to be in. Now, a good thing from that David McEwen video, basically, see, I've been working with emotions for a long time, and it does help. But, particularly, if you're using the Sedona method, very powerful, etc. But there was something fairly powerful about what Eckhart Tolle talked about in terms of looking at thoughts rather than emotions. Now, emotions, you can get a big chunk. With emotions, you can get a big chunk. But even in the Sedona method, for example, they say, well, thoughts are the building blocks. Thoughts are the building blocks. Then they sort of maybe conglomerate into emotions or feelings. And then those feelings might conglomerate into desires. Or basically, say, if you said, could I let go of wanting control? That might clear up a lot. Whereas if you were just focusing in on a particular thought, it might help with the thought, or even a particular emotion, might help with the emotion. But if you say wanting control, that might get a whole stack of plates out, as Hale talks about in the metaphor. Like the plate dispensers, you can take whole stacks out. And the thing is, with plate dispensers or, whatever, dispensers of any given thing at a restaurant or a store or something, it's not infinite. There are a certain amount of things in the dispenser, and you pull one out and another one comes up. You pull one out and another one comes up. Eventually, you're going to get to the end of it. Now, part of the thing with the Sedona method is simply using it. Actually, Hale talks about that in the book. And elsewhere, he says write down your gains, write down the good things, because sort of the mind has a way of kind of either forgetting or you start moving away from it, or it's oh yeah, so that was good, but you're not necessarily continuing to use it. And perhaps that's one of the last strategies in the mind, I suppose, or sort of the reactive mind in L. Ron Hubbard terms or whatever. That's perhaps one of the last strategies where it's hold on. It's basically oh, this thing's really working well. Hold on. this thing's really working well, right? And then it's like, okay, well, that's a problem for the mind, right? That's a problem for like the thought forms, as David McEwen refers to them. And I'd say check out egregores. It's in quotes, and then How to Stop Them for Good, something like that. Really, really helpful video. I watched it last night, and it was one of those moments where you're watching something and you're like, oh yeah, that's it. And super helpful. And I think if you check out my streams from this morning, pretty good, right? Like I'm looking pretty good, sounding pretty good. Now here's the thing, after a day of sort of like emotional oppositional forces, or perhaps you might say a day of getting back into the routine of standing in the room I don't like at the art gallery, if you want to put the power back in my hands, which might be helpful, or your own hands if you were to consider it like that. Say you were the me in this case. You know what? Let's not even refer to it. But in any case, yeah. So the Sedona method, for example, it's very powerful. And then like you might just sort of like drift away, and it's like, oh yeah, like, oh, that was great. But then you might drift away, and then in drifting away, you might be like, oh yeah, well, I tried the Sedona method and it seemed great, but oh well, here I am again. It's like, yeah, but did you keep using it? Not that you have to keep using it. For example, I think me today versus like me 8 years ago, I'm probably way more cleared up emotionally in many ways, and like to a great advantage. However, if I say in the last 8 years I had used the Sedona method twice as much, I don't know, perhaps it'd be like an exponential amount of even better. So let's do it. So let's play the game, and we can use the Sedona method as well. Let's try that. And we're also breathing. We are following the battle plan, because it's breathe if they come around you, otherwise let go. Now you can let go if they come around you, but like a suggestion is to breathe if they come around you. Maybe it's like your first line of defense, because letting go can start to feel like kind of you're battling two battles at once. If you're just breathing, it's like, well, that's what you're doing. But hold on. Actually, yeah, I'm going to breathe for a little bit. And we're looking for the Yeti. I don't know how to get to the Yeti, but we want the Yeti. I think I do know how to get to the Yeti. We're just going to call him Yeti if we get him. Oh shit, we do have the random battles going on. Now here's the thing, there is an item in this game where you can stop random battles, but as you might suspect, if you know Final Fantasy, it's a fairly high level or like late game item. It's an item where it's like, you're kind of putting in some work to get it. Now, of course, we could just sort of, I think the game itself, like, look, oh, I don't know. I think this version of the game, it might let you just stop random battles anyway. I don't want to use a cheat. I'd like to use the item if I can get it, but I don't want to just use a cheat. In fact, I think the item is like here. In fact, the item might be closer and easier to find than you might think, but I may look it up online. We'll see. Okay. Oh, yeah, here we go. Well, this is one thing. Good. Okay, that'll help. Yeah, see, we got auto battle on, off. These are cheats. Probably don't want to use them. That said, I've beaten this game before, so it's not like I won't have beaten it legitimately if I use cheats this time. I mean, this time I wouldn't have, but... Huh. Can we, what's back here? Come on. Is there anything back here? I don't even fucking know. Okay, that's fine. We're looking to go around. Oh, we can run. Yeah, we have him pincered. Is it here? I think it might be over there, actually, but we went here, so let's check it out. Let's go inside here if we can. Oh, it's locked. Ironically, we need lock to unlock him. Lock the guy. Now, lock, probably a reference... Maybe a reference to John Locke, you know, the philosopher. I don't know. Was he a philosopher? John Locke was something anyway. I think he was a philosopher. Actually, I'd probably do well to look into Locke. You know, if they're using Locke's name for like a main character and he's kind of like a cool dude, like, might be good to look into. Yeah, John Locke. I think Stefan Molyneux says, like, fairly frequently, he's like, oh yeah, like, I'm in the lineage of John Locke. He was like my great uncle or something. I don't know. Great uncle. It's funny, the Molyneux. Yeah, Stefan, I like Stefan. You know, I think, here's the thing, I think Stefan gets a lot of shit. And here's the thing, he gets a lot of shit from, like, of course he gets a lot of shit from the mainstream. Well, they don't want to give him too much shit, because I think he's one of those people that they don't really want to publicize. Like, if they're publicizing someone, they don't necessarily not want you to hear their stuff. But if they don't want you to hear their stuff, they're probably not going to publicize them. Stefan, they don't publicize them very much. They've got their little things, so it sort of sets up like a force field. So it's like, oh, you look up Stefan Molyneux, Anti-Defamation League, he's a bad man. But they're not going on the news and saying Stefan Molyneux, because if they were, people would probably look into what Stefan's talking about. And that in itself is not too bad of an indication that he might have some good stuff to say. Which he does, but yeah, I mean, he has good stuff to say. I definitely like Stefan. But I've given him a lot of shit too. In fact, I'll tell you what, Stefan is like the one, like, you know, sort of famous speaker or whatever. Semi-famous. He's fairly famous. He was in a documentary that Jordan Peterson was in, made by Mike Cernovich. You know, Scott Adams was in the documentary, Ryan Holiday, etc. Like, Stefan was one of them, and, you know, he's fairly famous. But this is kind of just to make me look cool at this point. But I got into a fight with Stefan Molyneux, not a physical fight. In fact, actually, I'll give you a Stefan one for that. He very emphatically, he's like, never get into a physical fight. He's like, physical fight's just a bad idea. Like, you don't know what's gonna happen. Like, say you push someone or something, and then they fall and they, like, hit their head the wrong way, they might frickin' die. Like, you may do barely anything, and it may, like, be catastrophic. So yeah, that's a Stefan for you. But how are we gonna get to this fucking Yeti, man? Huh. And it's like, well, Matt, what if you were the one who fell? It's like, well, here's the thing. You say the other thing first, because, of course, if you fell and, like, hit your head and you died, like, that wouldn't be great. But you say the other thing first, because the real danger, as per usual, or often enough, is it's not the person, it's not, like, what might happen to you, it's not whatever. It's something may go wrong, and then a mob full of people may basically torture you for the rest of your life, and that's called the government, etc. Right? That's the real issue. So it's like, oh yeah, like, don't get into a fight because you might get hurt. It's like, don't get into a fight because you might push someone, and, like, even just, like, get away from me, and then they might trip and fall and hit their head, and then you're in jail for the rest of your life. That's the real reason not to get into a fight. Not because of the person you're fighting with, because there are thousands of people not very far from you who will ruin your life, or they'll just be so glad, and there's, like, almost nothing that you'll be able to do about it. And of course, Stefan himself is fairly critical of statism and stuff. So Okay. I felt like I was looking a little puffy. Yeah, but Stefan's good. But I got into a verbal confrontation with him on his locals thing. For a while, he was like banned from various platforms and stuff. And but he had his locals platform, and so you didn't have to sign up. I don't think you had to pay any money, but you could pay money and like I'm not. Maybe you had to pay money. In any case, there was like a pay tier, maybe there was a free tier, but either way, it was like $5 a month or something if you were paying to be a member. And I paid. It was $5 a month. You know, get to listen to Stefan. He's got free audiobooks on there, all sorts of stuff. It was pretty good. But he would go on. He'd do a live stream like probably like a few times a week or something. And one night he was doing a live stream about one of his recent books. In fact, his Peaceful Parenting book. Probably one of the larger reasons why nobody like in the media would refer to him very much, because he's all about peaceful parenting, like not hitting your kids. Like he's against child abuse, and he talks out about it. And it's like, oh well, the media doesn't like child abuse. It's like, yeah, they may not seem to. When someone's like actually against child abuse, people really don't like it. Like there are all sorts of child abuse. It's like, well, this is just the things that we do. So Stefan's actually against child abuse. Or at least he presents himself that way, and perhaps well enough that indeed the media doesn't want to touch him, because they don't want you hearing about that. They don't want someone with integrity talking about actually protecting children. But in any case, or like, how it's not moral to hurt them or corrupt them, etc. But in any case, so he had his Peaceful Parenting book, and it was kind of like a book that he had been, it's like, it was sort of like his, maybe not his white whale, I don't know, maybe he even used that term, but it was like, okay, like if you would ask someone, like, what's Stefan Molyneux's, like, what's the book that, like, we were all waiting for, or maybe not we were all waiting for, but like the sort of mythic book that he's working on, Peaceful Parenting. And so he had released it, or he had been releasing it, and I think he had just like released the final bit of it or something. He had been like doing it in segments, and a lot of it was audio. I think basically, I don't want to criticize how he released it, but I think he was releasing it in a way where perhaps it came off as a little less of an event and kind of more of like some normal Stefan stuff. And so he did a stream saying like, hey, like I'm disappointed a lot more people haven't checked out my book. And like people were kind of like giving him possible answers like, oh, I think it's X, Y, or Z. Like I gave him an answer or two, like, like whatever. And like he was doing his refutations of the answers and stuff, and it wasn't that bad. But here's the thing, Stefan, more recently anyway, hold on. More recently anyway, Stefan, he's gotten a little insufferable. Like basically, I still think he says really helpful things, and he's very smart, and like which can sound like such fucking a condescending, like, oh, you're so smart. I've gotten that so many times, like, oh, he's very smart, but you're saying that to sort of like let him down easy, or like basically condescend to him by giving him a compliment. That can be kind of like an insult. If like, oh, you're the smartest person I know, and it's someone who like thinks like very little of you, it's like, oh wow, thanks for the condescending compliment, or whatever. It's like, well, that's a big statement. I think smartest man I know. It's like, well, so you're trying to, whatever. You're not as smart as a woman, but anyway, I'm not trying to say one is better or smarter than the other. I'm just saying. Oh, let's get the sprint shoes on. This should help. So anyway, Stefan was getting all these answers from these people, and I was one of them. But the thing is, like, recently he's been a little insufferable. I don't know. Maybe he got a certain medical intervention. I've been suspecting that he has, because certain like people after getting that, I feel like, at least in a couple of cases, or at least in one in particular that I can point to in my life, it seems like people's like whole energy got like very toxic and poison. Like it was like it kind of hurt to be around them. And so, but it started feeling like Stefan had that going on a little bit. And I think he's said or implied that he didn't get that, but I'm not so sure. Because for a while he was talking about the stuff related to the medical intervention, almost not inseparable, really not, I don't think, indistinguishable, but fairly similarly to people who are kind of in the mainstream, like talking about it as if it was this big deal. And it's like, dude, it seems like it's basically the cold or the flu, and it doesn't even seem like it's necessarily real. It seems like it might just be psychosomatic for some people who like believe in it, and then otherwise they're inflating the numbers by calling everything else that, and you know, X, Y, and Z. But he was talking about it for a decent amount of time. He was talking about it similarly to how many other people might. In any case, whatever the case may be, more recently, like, you listen to him and it's just, there's like a real, I don't know, I listen to him and it's like sort of physically painful. I'm not trying to say that as an insult. I'm saying something about his vibe. He'd probably like make fun of me for that, but this is part of it actually. Something about his vibe, something about the energy he gives off, something about like maybe literally the sound of his voice, you could say. Like it's gotten grating and sort of painful to listen to in some sense. And also like I don't know if he was ever like the least likely guy to kind of get into fruitless arguments or kind of like poison the well, and like if he is talking to someone, to kind of take little snipes at them and like kind of undercut them, and basically like even if he's having a debate, perhaps especially if he's having a debate with someone, like sort of return to these, like sort of set up, maybe not straw men, but kind of, it doesn't seem like he's trying to have a real honest conversation so much as he's trying to get his shots in. And if he's presenting himself as a philosopher, and I think he does have a lot of good to say, it sort of gets a little irritating to see him speak that way to people, because it's like, dude, like it seems like when you're arguing with someone, it seems almost like listening to someone who's arguing with someone who watches the mainstream media, or like the person who watches the mainstream, like they're just like, yeah, well, what about this? And then like they're just pointing. It's like your standards seem higher than that generally, Stefan. But in any case, so he was kind of doing that, like he was kind of refuting and rebuking what people were saying, but he was kind of doing it in like a little bit of a shitty way. So after a certain amount of time, like he was just going over and over, and he's like, no, that's not it. And look, if he didn't get an answer from people that seemed reasonable to him, then fine. But the question being, why aren't more people listening to like the parts of my book that I've been putting out? Like it seems like it's a disappointing amount of you that have been like checking out this book that I've been working on for so long, etc. And basically, like at a certain point, I got a little annoyed at him, and well, I mean, maybe I wasn't the only one, but like I got into a verbal confrontation with him, and to make a long story short, or a long story, the ending, I guess the climax short, but whatever. Basically, like he blocked me from his platform. And very interesting, because I was a paying member. And in fact, I lost a certain amount of days. And I think I sent a message to locals. I was like, I have like 15 days left, but he blocked me. Like, are you going to give me a little refund for that? And or something like that. And I think they said they would, and then I don't know if they ever did. Whatever. Doesn't matter. But if Stefan gets that, then fine. He's done a lot of good stuff. In any case, yeah, I can say I had sort of a public argument with Stefan, and he got pissed enough at me, or annoyed, or basically like he was, I don't want to put it in terms where I'm making him look like he's emotional or something. See, I don't want, not to say like, oh, I'm standing higher than he is, but I truly don't want to make him look bad or anything. I'm just saying it was an argument that was enough of an argument that he took me off his platform, and I was a paying member. So there you go. That's funny. It's like, what? Did you insult him or something? It's like, not really. I think the harshest thing I said was like, basically, like one of the people talking to him like gave like some kind of answer or something, and then he's like, well, I don't know exactly what you meant. Like maybe your English is a second language or something. And it was kind of like, that's kind of the shitty type of thing. It's like really, Stefan, this guy's like paying you, and he's like giving you like perhaps well thought out or some kind of responses, and then you're gonna like throw ESL at him. Maybe he was English as a second language, I don't know. But I brought that up again, and then Stefan's like, I didn't mean that as an insult. I was truly saying, like, it's like, anyway, I'm sure you can find it if you look long enough. But it's up on Rumble and stuff as well. But nevertheless, yeah, you can. That's me and Stefan having a bit of an argument. Still, Okay, let me breathe a little bit. I apologize for the repetitive music here. Let's really try to find this freaking Yeti. Hold on. All right, that's fine. Yeah, but I gotta tell you, man, like, I'm I'd like to actually go back and finish one of those Dave. Not that I haven't finished one of the videos, but like for example, I'm watching one that I didn't finish. I'd like to go back and watch the rest of it because watching it, I was like, oh my god, like this is great. Like this is yes, this is everything. Like basically, like I feel like I've been in a cloud of smog, and this guy's just like blowing it away with a freaking high-powered blower, and I'm just fine. I'm sparkling afterwards. Not that it's just about him. It's like it truly did seem to be like the things that he said and techniques and stuff. That said, oh, is that it? That said, yeah, today's been a little difficult, and especially when I think I really have some like dark fucking forces around me. I think I've really got some people who like kind of, I mean, people bullshit you to your face anyway, but I think I've really got some people in my life who are either so imbued or like ingrained in this negative smog themselves, or like they actually want to take me down, and it seems like actually the latter, and I can point to various indications, but it's like shit, man. Like I think I've got some dark fucking occult people, and I mean specific people I could point to, or at least one who like really like want me to fucking fail. And it's like, oh Matt, that's paranoid. It's like, really, is it paranoid to say somebody like ever wants you to fail? It's like, all right, if you're living in this sort of cruel fantasy land, or setting it up probably insincerely, where someone's going to say like, oh, this, it seems like someone wants me to fail, and then you're going to look at them like they're a crazy person because they're floating the idea that someone might not want the best for them. It's like, oh wow, like okay, I guess everybody just wants the best for everybody, and like it's just totally insane to ever point anything out, especially if you have a bunch of framework to put it on logically. It's whatever. I think I've gotten into a bad habit of basically. Actually, I was thinking about this morning. This might be a helpful way to cut through this stuff, but I think basically for so long I was in a position where there were sort of severe and grave consequences that were kind of totally up to people who were not only not me, but they were also like people who kind of seemed to have no interest in either sincerely saying anything about me, or indeed in anything that I said to defend myself. That basically I think I got into this pretty nasty habit of like kind of projecting. Not that everything is a projection, because again, I could point to a lot. Indeed, if someone said everything is a projection, they'd probably sort of be filling the role and like putting flesh to it of exactly what I'm talking about. But I think indeed, like I've gotten into sort of the habit, or I had gotten into it, of setting up sort of like just sort of feeling like there was some kind of horrible consequence coming, and it was up to someone who didn't give a shit about what was real or not. And indeed, they kind of just wanted to screw me as much as they could while still looking somewhat okay. And if you're in that kind of, if you get into that kind of like, hate to say mindset, but indeed if you get into that kind of framework, it's difficult. And it's like, well, what do you mean specifically? What I mean specifically is if you ever like have some kind of court trial or something, it's fairly easy to get into the mindset of like, because you have all this trauma perhaps from it, and it's like, oh my god, it's like basically there are all these people wielding this immense force, and it's a ridiculous, absurd situation to begin with, where you might have literally just said something, and then they're talking about like putting you in jail for like 10 years and shit, and it's like for saying something you never saw anybody in person, anything, no money, nothing exchanging hands. It was beginning and ending just words, and they're talking about like basically ruining the rest of your life, and then none of them seem like they could give a shit about anything at all, except how can we make this guy look bad. And if you have trauma, and if that happens for long enough, then I gotta tell you, man, it's fairly easy to get into the routine of like basically you kind of have some image in your mind of like, well, everyone's just basically this horrible, smug, kind of unintelligent person, or at least not showing much discernment, who's looking to inflict as much pain as possible on me, and it doesn't matter what the truth is, it just matters what they can do strategically, and they're not, and I have very little say about it. And then you look around you and you see people being ignorant, and it's like, yep, that's just another one of those fucking people. So yeah, it's you can get into quite a little fucking bind with stuff like that, but you don't have to. You don't have to. And indeed, if you continue to stay thinking in those ways, then you could sort of argue that that's kind of a lingering effect of just those people. And now, like, you're spending years thinking in a certain way, or like feeling pain, and sort of like basically arriving at an assumption that, like, well, you know, everyone's just going to be super unfair to me. Now, people may still be unfair to you. In fact, people probably will be. But it might not be nearly as intense or nearly as horrible as it was. And yet you might be going around with some sort of emotional frequency of, like, it's going to be just like that. And it's like, you know, hopefully not. Hopefully never again, actually, or even nearly that way. And if you can get on a good frequency, then, you know, Thoughts Are Things, Napoleon Hill, etc. If you can get on a good frequency, then perhaps things are going to be great. And you're going to be surrounded by good people. Okay, now let me breathe maybe until 38 without saying anything, perhaps. Oh, Matt, thank goodness. Let me just do that, and then hopefully we'll see how I'm feeling. Because I feel a little bogged down. It is funny though. If anyone, oh, I'll just say it real quick. If anyone ever tries to give you the thing about like, oh, like you're in America, like there's a court of law. It's like, yeah, there's a court of law if you got a really good lawyer. If you're not like a rich person, the court of law might as well just be like a big pile of ooze that slows you down as people jab you with spears. I'd much rather take my chances like living in some kind of like kingship or something. Not that a kingship is good, but at least in a kingship you might be able to run away from the fucking knights. With a court of law, it's just a very, very slow process of getting fucked repeatedly. And especially given that, like, they'll put you in jail before they convict you of something. Like, they'll literally do that. That's what happened to me. They'll put you in jail before they convict you of something. And so basically, and then depending on how long it takes, and it tends to be very slow, and people tend to be very disinterested when it's your turn because they just deal with that shit every day. And it's like, oh yeah, here's just another fucking trial. It's like, I've been waiting for 7 months for this shit. It's like, we gotta get to fucking dinner at the end of this shit. Let's speed it up. It's like, you know. They'll put you in jail and then they'll decide whether you did it or not. That's called America. Kid you fucking not. Kid you not. It's called detainment. They send you to jail first and then they maybe convict you. And if they don't convict you, what? Are they going to give you like a bunch of money or something? I fucking doubt it. I don't know what happens if you get off innocent at the end of that, or not guilty. Guilty has to be part of it. It's always guilty or not guilty, but guilty is the term that it constantly gets brought up. But it's like, no, yeah, they'll you go into fucking jail no matter you did it or not. And if it turns out that even you prove to them and they say, okay, we agree you didn't do it, I don't think, what are they gonna fucking give you more years of your life back or something? You're fucked in America. It is like George Carlin. He was a terrible person, but it's like George Carlin. You're fucked. And the sad thing is, it probably is better here than it is in other places. Oh, hey, look at that. Oh, shit, we got a lot of fucking learning there. That's crazy. That's like 3 different characters learn the spell in one fucking battle. Maybe we got a lot of AP. Hold on. Okay. Yeah, it's funny though, man. It's you grow up and it's like, oh, America's very, very fair, and like they really care, and they just want to see who did it and stuff. It's like, no, they want to say, because you're in the defendant's chair, you did it, and whether or not it makes sense even to us, we're just gonna throw as much shit as we can at you to make you look bad. And you're going to be in jail the whole time, too. And it's going to be months before anyone says anything to you. And then you're going to have, like, a half an hour. And we're going to get, like, 80% of that to speak. You're going to speak, like, 2 sentences. And it'll be you basically saying, I'm so sorry, to the judge, because your lawyer says, you say anything else, you defend yourself at all, that motherfucker's going to send you to jail 10 times as long. And that's the American way. That's the American... It's not the American dream, but that is the American reality. Or the system. It is funny. It's sad. And then you talk about it on Twitch, and it's like, well, in America, you get to criticize the government. It's like, you talk about it on Twitch, you got that one there, and it's like, does he have a badge? is he going to try to screw me? Like, it's similar enough, perhaps, as opposed to other countries, to what they say, but as far as being similar to what they say about it in general, it's not similar at all. It is communist Russia with a red, white, and blue flag, and I think that their flag probably had, like, what? Their flag had fucking red, blue, and white as well, right? It's all the same shit, man. you're better off with a king, because again, at least you might be able to get away from the fucking knights on horseback. and he'll probably tell you, like, well, he'll tell you what's going to happen to you basically right away. Whereas in America, it's like, well, let's wait around for like 16 months, and then we'll disappoint you then. But until then, you're gonna be eating food made by other people that we're waiting around to convict too, because we care little enough about you that the food we give you is gonna go through the hands of people that we deem bad enough that we'd lock them in a steel cage too, and they're gonna be the people who handle your food before you fucking eat it. That's how bad America is. You get to eat piss and shit in your fucking food made by other prisoners, or you get to fucking starve while you wait for the judge to not listen to you because he has to go to fucking dinner. That's America. Well, not listen to you because he has to go to dinner, but indeed, he has to go to dinner and he's not going to listen to you, and he's going to try to hurry you along. He might listen to your lawyer, maybe. And if you're fortunate enough to have a good one, maybe you have some chance of, like, something. If you got a public defender or whatever, it's like, he already told you you're fucked. And if that sounds cynical, I don't invite you to go through the process, because I wouldn't want you to go through that much trauma. But if that sounds cynical, then I think you may not have had much to do with that system. In practical terms, because if you did, it's like, oh yeah, no, Matt, you made it sound pretty good there. It's way worse. Did you talk about them undressing you every time you went into and left the fucking prison that you went to? It's not just like in fucking Shawshank Redemption, they undress you at the beginning. No, they undress you every time you leave and come back. A grown man telling you to spread your cheeks so he can look at your asshole. That's America. That's the American way. Oh shit, is he on our team now? Shit, we got fucking Moogle. Oh, Don Draper. Yeah, we already had him, I guess. Okay. Yes. I'll help you fight, Koopa. Excellent. I bet the Yeti will come along too. He'll be a big help, Koopo. Yes! He can be a little wild though, Koopo. He should be here in the mines somewhere. We were looking for the Yeti, see? No matter what happens, if you remain positive, and positive doesn't mean like, just not acknowledging things. If you remain good, you may get your answer. Not from a person around you, no. I mean straight from the source. Okay. Okay, yeah, let's go find the Yeti. He'll help us if I order him to. Let's look for him, Koopa. Okay, so he's in the mines. The Yeti is in the mines. Excellent. Okay. Actually, these mines are pretty tough. There are, I thought to say animals, I thought to say dogs. There are enemies called, like, I think they're called, like, pugs. Or maybe it is, like, dog or something. But it's basically, like, it's actually a Tonberry, isn't it? Yeah, it's not a Cactuar, it's a Tonberry, a famous Final Fantasy enemy, but they're hanging around here, and they are fucking brutal. You don't want to fight one of those guys. Oh, boy. Oh, shit, okay. Do we have a save point in here? Man, oh, look, we're not getting random battles here. Good. Alright, I'm gonna breathe for a second. Sorry. Matt, are you laughing? We're from the government. We think you're crazy. You would laugh and dance. That's the mark. It's like living in... The reality of America is like living in fucking 18th century Victorian England. It's like you smiled and you danced and you laughed. You're crazy and you're going into the dungeon. That's America. Oh, God. You talked about how you can do anything you set your mind to. That's the talk of a crazy man. You're a crazy person. You're going to the dungeon. We have a place for you. It's called the fucking basement of Jeffrey Epstein. No, he's not going to jail. You are. It's like, well, didn't you go? Yeah, okay. How about his whole client list? By the way, do you really believe that that all that stuff happened to him? You don't think he's on one of those fucking islands right now? Hey, I don't know. If Deepak gets prosecuted, maybe I'll fucking believe it. No, I still wouldn't. I don't know what really happened to Jeff, but if like, let's say if 10% of the people who like whom they have evidence of, like, you know, R-ing little kids in our culture, in the media, in the government, that they release the files to you to show you this is stuff, evidence that we're giving you to show you that these people might have done something. If 10% of those people get prosecuted, then maybe you'd be reasonable to say, well, maybe Jeffrey Epstein isn't just living well somewhere on a fucking island right now. Unless you were in the prison with him and you saw it all happen yourself. Because they released thousands of emails from like, dozens, hundreds of public figures, and nobody's going to jail. Yeah, you think Jeff did? Yeah, all right. That's about as realistic as the Donald Trump mugshot. Who, by the way, Trump was also listed in those files, and apparently they say that he R-ed kids as well, and it's like, yeah, well, no, nobody's ever going to jail. Unless if you look too happy in America and you're not one of those rich and famous evil people. Maybe you'll go to jail, and you'll have no recourse. No legal recourse at all. In fact, anything you say can and will be held against you. But people with like evidence presented in the mainstream now of like R-ing kids, no, they're not seeing jail. No, they'll fucking watch it on TV when they fucking watch Oz on HBO. That's about as close as Deepak gets, or any of these fuckers. Oh boy. Now, why do you have something against Deepak? Look, I have Deepak books. I like some of what Deepak's done, but I'm just saying, if he's done some of the other stuff that seemingly the mainstream and indeed the government's files, their very own files, say that he's probably done. If he's done some of that stuff, and I went to jail for more than a year for sending somebody emails, and all sorts of stuff happened to me, but not a single thing happens to him, but he R-ed K's. Yeah, there you go. That's America. It's like, well, Deepak's from India. It's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe I should pick a different... which of the other dozens of fucking people do you want? How about the president? How about I mention him instead? He's from New York. Oh, God. Yeah, no, it's... this ain't the country you were told it was. Okay, oh, hey, so maybe the Yeti's somewhere around here. Good. But it is the country that sometimes they depict on the media, except when they truly depict it, you notice that nobody goes to jail. Only you and your friends and family go to jail in America, not the people who own the jails and run them. They don't go to jail. No, they get to send emails to their friend Jeff about all the little kids they R-ed. That's okay. That's okay. You said the Pledge of Allegiance so many times that you're probably brainwashed to believe in all this shit regardless. No matter what they tell you, they'll probably laugh at you after they turn off the fucking camera. Oh boy. Then the camera will be pointed at you. No, joke's on you, it already was. Oh boy. I got a new video on American Noble, check it out. Yeah, Matt, but don't you think some politicians are worse than others? I think they're all cartoon characters. I think they all play a role, and it's not cartoons. It's basically like watching the WWE. You got John Cena come out. He's a rapper, and he comes out and he's a rapper because that's the cultural stereotype they're working with. If you know WWE, like every wrestler, and most times like a wrestler, sometimes they're not like a total stereotype, but most times, or it seems like a lot of the new wrestlers, it's like, oh, this is the stereotype of this. This is the guy like this. So you got John Cena, he's the rapper. Hey, yo, I'm John Cena. The time is now. And then he comes back and he changes his whole character, and now he's the military guy. I'm John Cena, the military guy. That's like your average politician. It's the same shit. In fact, they probably have a similar level of power because it's probably not even fucking them doing anything, actually. But they'll certainly get away with doing anything. And they probably do much more than you ever hear about, and it might shock you. But of course, you know, the Epstein stuff comes out, and everyone's like, oh yeah, now it's just sort of common knowledge that these people are, you know, now even the mainstream people would say, oh yeah, they're R-ing kids all the time, but you know, what are you going to do? The real bad guys are the people in our community who don't believe the media. It's like, all right, you guys are just, you guys are like the average man in communist Russia, like walking around, right, saying, I'm a comrade. That's everybody, right? And the funny thing is, the average man who says I'm a comrade, and he even believes it, he gets screwed just as much as anyone else. Well, maybe a little less because he will not buck the trend at all, but he's getting screwed along with the rest of you, but he's saying, thank you, sir, may I have another? And then he looks with a mean grimace at somebody next to him and says, doesn't it suck to have your ass hit with a paddle like this? And he's like, you would dare speak out against the paddle master? Or he's like, oh yeah, that paddle master's bad, but look at the paddle master over there. He's wearing blue instead of red, and he's a good guy. It's like, you guys suck. You guys are the worst. Oh boy. Okay, let's find this Yeti. I truly mean it, though. I truly mean it. I have very little respect for most people, and increasingly less. Increasingly less, because it's just, the more is revealed about what's going on, and the more is just like in your face, and the more everything gets bad, the more people around you are like, oh, yeah. Disregarding all that, if you ever say anything that I haven't heard on a sitcom or on the news, if you ever say anything I haven't heard, if you ever analyze anything or even tell the truth about anything that ever happened to you, you're an enemy of the state. It's like the people around you are less respectable than the monsters are in K's, because at least those monsters have like some sense of like swagger. It's like the people around you are like, we're just slaves, and we're actually like, we smile. We're less nice than the people who are in the Epstein files. That's your friends and family. I don't have any friends though. Oh god. Okay, so what is this? Oh, hey. So yeah, how do we? You know, let's save and then try to explore the mines further, because I want to find that guy. You know, let's run away from these things. Oh boy. Matt, how's that positivity going? No, I know. No, truly, I know, and that's actually I would do very well to be much more positive, because what? I'm gonna complain about the art in a room, like say, oh, I don't like it in this room. You know, that's going back to the Moogle. I'm just gonna say like, oh, this room is full of bad art, and then I'm gonna continue, and that's just gonna be what's around me. And it's like, Matt, stop talking about it. Stop it. We know how bad it is. It's gonna get worse that you're talking about it. Matt, stop it. And no, me doing this isn't some kind of like threat to anybody in the world. Please don't. But it's like, Matt, just cut it out. Just stop it, because you have a lot of power, Matt, perhaps, and the more you talk about how bad things are, the more they're going to get bad. We don't want you to do it, Matt. No, I know. Sorry. Oh crap! Rama's gonna heal those top guys, I think, if they don't get destroyed first. Oh, good, thank God. Or Ramu, I don't know. Probably Ramu. But it has an H at the end that, if it was just R-A-M-U, it'd almost certainly be Ramu. But with an H at the end, it's like, is it Rama? Rama would go along with, like, you know, you have Shiva, that's an Indian god, and then Rama would be like R-A-M-A, right? It's spelled differently, but it's like, Matt, nobody knows about Indian gods. It's like, yeah, no, someday someone will appreciate all my expertise about all these fucking things. Let's think about that. Someday people will appreciate me. But they won't say I appreciate you, because those are the people who really, they're just looking to feel smug and like kind of make you feel lowly and pitiful as you get them their frickin' soda at your retail job. I appreciate you. It's like, oh, thanks. Wow, you really get a whole sense of my character when I frickin' scanned that item. Yeah, that's an insult. It truly is, though. It's like they're equating. They say that as if they're saying thank you, and so they're equating what you just did to them, wearing your little Walmart uniform or whatever, with your entire being, and they say I appreciate you, as in I see that you're such a good Walmart employee. It's like, oh wow, yeah, thanks. You get the full scope, dude. Oh boy. I say that actually sarcastically, but don't say that sarcastically, because if you're saying you get the full scope, the message is the full scope is that might go back, you know, into the universe or into. It's like, no, that's not the full scope at all. That was sarcasm. They get none of the scope by looking at you, saying you just scanned an item, and I appreciate you. None of the scope. None. Yeah, Matt, don't fucking strangle yourself like that, dude. Do not do that. You know what? Let's use a tent. Good thing we saved, though. There you go. That's pretty good. Now, what did I say? Did I say how long the stream was going to be? If I didn't, I think I'd like it to go to like 4:30. Although I think I might have thought till 5. See, I'd like to come back a little later, but oh yeah, I said I was going to go. Okay, because 5, I'm doing the middle pillars. Thank goodness I thought of that. Okay. Good. Yeah, let's use a tent. Actually, are we gonna... You know what? No. We used ethers. Let's use abilities instead. See, this is playing smart. This is playing smart, not scared. Smart, not scared. That's pretty good. I like that. Smart, not scared. Or playing smart, not scared. I like that a lot. Playing smart, not scared. There you go. Oh, you know what? But let's play even smarter or more smartly, and save again, just so that, say we died or something or whatever, we would return here having already healed. Preemptive, that's what we're looking for. Actually, oh crap, whatever. It was like, wait a second, if we get these 3 guys, I think it should be an easy enough fight, and that should be a lot of experience. That's fine. Okay, so what do we got? Yeah, motherfucker. Okay, is this where we want to go? Maybe not. Okay, cool. That should do it. Yeah, this game fucking rules. Imagine playing this on frickin' Super Nintendo, man. Very good. Oh, hey, can we sleep? No. Huh. Wait, didn't we come in here before? Crap, we could have skipped ahead. Okay, so, well, this is a good... So let's remember this building. This is the building we go to get farther into the mines right off the bat. And how do we get to it? Well, all we have to do is go to the... What? This is the armor shop. Yeah, baby, look at that. We got the airship attack. I love his slot thing because it's like, it's fun. It's like every time you get it, it's like, yeah, I timed that. I timed that well. It's usually just a bit of a rhythm. It's like, boop, boop, boop. Okay, so yeah, we go past the magic shop, or what, Aladdin's lamp. We go past I think that's just the item shop. Past the item shop into the shield shop, armor, whatever. And that's how we take a shortcut into the mines. This is if we want to go back to that part of the mines, because I'm not sure if that's the right part. I think it might be a different part. Oh crap, we're about to waste all of the rest of Celes' MP. That's fine. Or Celes. I love Celes. That's... Huh? What's that? Why did his Bushido not work for a bit? Remember when his Bushido wasn't working? What was that? Oh, we almost fucking did it. You hear that? Those boop, boop, boop. You know what? I might get Final Fantasy V. That might be the game to get. Because I was like, I'd like to get a game. 5 is... I think 5 might be the... I probably played a little... I think on the computer, like, I played a little of Final Fantasy, the original. I think 5 might be... earlier today, I was like, every mainline Final Fantasy game I've ever played, I've beaten. But no, I've played 5, and I haven't beaten it. I've also played Tactics Advance. That was quite a game, but I don't want to use all the frickin' ethers. You know what? Let's use 2 more ethers because we're on sort of a mission here. But after that, let's We're going to be really conservative with our frickin' MP. Because ethers are fairly, what, rare? I don't know where to get another ether. Oh, good. We got another save. Excellent. Okay, now we're back to the mines and we're looking for the Yeti. What am I feeling right now? Oh yeah, Sedona method, okay. What am I feeling now? Oh boy. Yeah, I'd do well to watch a David McEwen. I'm looking forward to coming back for another stream today. I'd like to, and I think I would like to, and I think I might. But I'd do well to watch a little more David McEwen, kind of, because man, that's good stuff, man. Now, one helpful thing to ask yourself is probably, what am I afraid of? Like, what am I afraid of happening? Like, I'll let you in a little bit. So I just had a thought, or yeah, a sense of like, I talked about it at the Kingdom Hearts stream, but it's sort of a sense of like, okay, or one of them last night. Like, if General dies, if General dies on a hit before he runs away, then like that's a bad sign, and it's like. Or like basically like then you're screwed or then it's bad. It's like, well, what does that mean? Like what is bad? Like not what is bad, but I mean like what specifically am I being kind of threatened with happening? Right? Like what's the omen here? Because is it like, oh, you won't be enlightened, like you won't have salvation, or is it won't be a good stream, or is it you should stop the stream? And if it's you should stop the stream, it's like, well, why? What's going to happen? It won't be a good stream, is that it? Or like you're not going to have fun? Like what exactly is it? See, I think if you really ask about that, I think you get to the point where you realize like, I think it's all just fucking bullshit. And it's probably bullshit that people would like you to believe. Like I've got, I don't want to keep talking about it. And you know what? Let's let this be the last time I refer to this person today. But like, I think I have someone in my life who's either being activated or like, indeed, like intending to screw with me. Like, just wants me to fail, wants me to do badly, wants to undercut me, wants me to feel bad, wants me to feel shame, wants to push me into some kind of mold that matches her expectations of the world. And that would be sort of putting it charitably, because perhaps it's more like put me into like a mold that she herself knows is like evil and demeaning and degrading. And it's like, if that kind of person is like right near you and like basically like you're always getting like that little hit of like that little sound of like, you really need to be horrible like this and blah 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 blah. It's like, well, what's the fucking... You hear that over and over again, and I think it carries a sense... It might even carry thought forms, like David McEwen might talk about, but it really carries a sense of, like, doom or foreboding or something. But what is the fucking doom? Is the doom like you're going to get disapproval from someone who is going to disapprove of you if you do well? Well, great. You want their fucking disapproval. You'd like to have approval from people. Maybe you'd like to have approval if somebody is going to give you approval for doing well. But if somebody says, okay, you're running a marathon, Matt, and I'm going to disapprove of you unless you trip and fucking break your nose. It's like, well then, I hope you disapprove of me because I hope I don't break my fucking nose. What am I feeling right now? But that goes back to the whole judgeship thing and the whole like sort of getting into the routine, like the mental or emotional setup of like, I'm surrounded by all these people who are like actually wildly inaccurate judges. They're inaccurate with the things they say, but then they also want bad things, and their whole like worldview is inverted. So even if they were being accurate, it'd actually be worse if they had like sort of the capacity or the consistent accuracy regimen, because then they'd be being accurate and also looking for your doom. Right? And so, but it's just like, it's like being surrounded by a judgeship of the ignorant or something. It's like being surrounded by people who are like, you're not horrible enough. You're bad. Oh, you think for yourself. You stand up. You should sit back down. It's like, oh man, like that shit, it just like, it eats you, man. But it doesn't have to. It doesn't have to. And let's let this be hopefully that wasn't specifically referring to a certain person, but let's have that be the last time I refer to a certain person, and then let's have that be the last time I refer to sort of the judgeship for today. And let's see what we do. If I can remember it. If I falter or something, then fine. I don't want to set myself some kind of doom here. But what am I feeling right now? Ooh. Could I welcome that feeling? What is the sense of wanting underneath it? Can I let go of wanting control? Blech. Okay. Can I let go of thinking about any of my antagonists? Alright. Well, good enough for now, I guess. But the thing is, keep in mind you are okay. And it's like, oh man, that's funny. That's a comedy routine after you're clearly like having some like kind of difficult emotional stuff here. It's like, I suppose it is, but nevertheless, if you can keep in mind that you're actually okay, the omen, like ultimately the omen or like the bad thing would be you're not okay or you're not gonna be okay. Like I think when it got down to it, it would be you're not gonna be okay, like essentially. But if you are okay essentially and you're always gonna be okay, it's like the James True blueprints of mind control. The first blueprint is someone gets you to believe that you're broken. And then they get you to believe that you can't fix it yourself, and then they get you to believe that it's salvation through sacrifice, something like that. Now, if you are okay to begin with, then that takes away basically every possible weapon that anyone has against you. They could still do physical things to you, but if you're okay to begin with, it's like you're really not going to generally be scared of much at all. So if you're okay, and then there's no reason to get mad, there's no reason to get afraid, unless you're having a good time getting mad or something or being afraid. Like there's no reason. It's like what, you're going to be afraid? Afraid of what? Afraid that you're not okay, but you are okay and you're going to be okay. You're okay. And so hold on. What time is it? 4:38. Okay. So let's say we're going until 5. Oh, we're on the fucking minute again. Great. 4:38. We're at 118. So that's 48:58. So like, and around like 4:39 or something, probably gonna end the stream. Probably coming back later. I'm looking forward to it actually. But yeah, if you can, like, could I let go of any feeling that I'm not okay? Ooh. You cut their balls off just like that. And, you cut the teeth out. Could I let go of any feeling that I'm not okay? And now let's get into the battle plan, and that would be connected breathing. So maybe I'll go until 25. Oh shit, that looks like a boss. Now here's, oh, maybe a summon. Here's a helpful, fuck. Here's a super helpful thing. Ask yourself, okay, so like for example, I was just thinking like, oh well, say something, like what bad is gonna happen? It's like, well, say it's like, oh well, you know, somebody's influence you might think might have you turn out like them. Like, oh, you know, I'm still okay, but then I'd be acting like they would be, or I'd turn into a person that I wouldn't respect. It's like, okay, that's a fair thing to wonder about. Then a good thing in that case is, what kind of person would you respect? And how do you, like, basically, how do you maintain being a person that you'd respect? And what ways would you go astray from that? And if you can define that, then you're not going to be corrupted, because the corrupting influence would be taking you away from the thing that you defined. So all you have to do is be like the thing you defined, or basically not do the things that would be to you corrupting. It's like, well, how many things are there for that? Well, hopefully it wouldn't be like a huge long list, right? Hopefully you could sort of break it down fairly simply. Crap. I don't. This person seems easy. I don't know what the. What's the reward for beating this thing? Shoot. Crap. Okay. Uh-oh. $27,000. Vulnerable to fire. If we hit him with like 27 more, like 1,000 damage attacks, but crap. Yeah, we're not ready. Not for him. We're looking for the Yeti though. That's whom I really want. You know what? We can look it up online. Let's just hang out for a second. We can't run away, right? Yeah. Let's just. Oh wow! So they get unfrozen after a while. Well, that's something. You know what? Maybe it will be worth it. We might be able to fucking pull this shit off. With Bushido, physical attacks don't do almost anything. Shit. Is Stephen 8 gonna do anything? If we had fire, that would be helpful. No, Blizzaga. What? Why did she do Blizzaga? Oh, did Stephen 8 do Blizzaga? I hope not. Shit. Oh no, he did Blizzaga, and then it cured him. Damn it. Yeah, that's tough. Ooh. You know what? Let's go to title screen. I'd rather not just wait until the end of that battle. Let's go to title screen. Maybe we'll listen to a little music, and then that's going to be it for the stream generally. I'm gonna see if I can connect my breathing a little too, and then because that'll be a good test for the battle plan. I apologize if this stream isn't super interesting from here to the end. Might be though, because I feel like I've been in a pretty bad state. I'd say for probably like the past, kind of since the thing that I said with the general, where it's like if general dies, then things are going to go badly or whatever. Like, and it was sort of like a nebulous kind of thing. But it's like I feel like I have been in sort of a bad state, and it's like, well, Matt, isn't that turning out to be true? Well, it might be sort of a self-fulfilling thing, like as long as I'm holding on to it. So let's see if I can connect my breathing and things like turn around. Let's see. I am testing correctly. 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 Even though I'm feeling scared, it's okay. I deeply love and respect myself. Ugh. Ugh. Feeling a little better, but let's keep going. Still feel kind of like the Doom. That helped, I think. Now this, yeah, this may seem like, oh, sorry. Let's do Locke's theme. Oh, that's nice. Now, McEwen did say something about, he's like, well, XYZ, but he said something about, like, you know, if you have deep sort of emotional, like, trauma or something, that might require, oh, there's the Yeti, that might require some shadow work. Interesting, very interesting, because this guy's name is Shadow, I kid you fucking not. I think it is, but in any case, like, it might require some shadow work with deep emotional wounds or trauma or something. So, like, I think it could be deemed shadow work to continue to do the connected breathing, but it's like you're uncovering, like, deep shit, and it's like, ooh, like, it feels like a real, like, you're getting violated, but, or, like, not to do that is, but it feels like, you know, like, certain effects, certain feelings, it might be, like, it's not, oh, it's just a feeling, right? But, like, you can feel, like, pretty fucking violated, but just, if you can continue to breathe. Hold on. Okay, 4:59. So we're about to be done with the stream. I'd like to go until 5, and then I'm gonna get right up, do the middle pillars. I'll be coming back. Hopefully, when I come back, I'm gonna be like super fucking like oh yeah, like Matt's back in fucking action. I think right now I'm feeling a little that way, but like we'll keep going with it. But you don't want to capitulate to people. You don't want to basically, like, because especially if you, like, hear, like, if someone maintains, like, some kind of, like, physical influence in your surroundings, it can be easy to get into sort of a capitulation where now you're sort of, like, waiting for signals from someone, like, or if there's another signal is sent, it's like, uh-oh, like, now things are bad again. It's like, you might want to watch that.